News on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good day, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. These are the top stories we're tracking. Developing Stabroek Block to cost Guyana over $1 trillion in next 3 years. Payment delays for locals in oil and gas sector unacceptable as government moves to review laws to regulate industry. Sod turned for $150 million Demerara Bank branch at Lenora. President unveils $3 billion support for Amerindians. Suspected skeletal remains of murdered Kuru man found, and way cleared for slow to challenge President Ali sacking of PSC as Nandla loses 3 rounds in bid to block case. Meanwhile, news selling for Port Kaituma estimated to cost $1 billion. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Can't believe all this money for me. I got to get the CASH. That's the code for the vault, so let's play. Top up with the toes and then the next day you could be a millionaire. But did you sell?
More than 15 million to grab this summer. Top up with $1,000 or more to collect the letters to spell CASH.
For a chance to catch millions in the Digicells Cash Vault.
Top up today.
Did you sell?
And now for the news in detail. The oil and gas industry is often referred to as a capital-intensive industry, and according to recent forecast, the development of the Stabroek Block is expected to cost the country in excess of $1 trillion to be expended over the next 3 years. This information can be gleaned from the most recent financial statements and accompanying notes for Stabroek Block operator Esso. Guyana currently has 2 floating production, storage, and offloading units and is currently producing crude oil from the Stabroek Block, the Liza Destiny and Liza Unity, and the third is currently under construction. Meanwhile, local businesses servicing the oil and gas sector continue to lament the lengthy time it takes the oil and gas companies to pay them for goods and services provided. The issue of late payments has been a sore one and is being blamed for the stifling of local businesses. As such, the government is expected to revise the regulations in the Local Content Act with a view to remedying the situation. Guyana at the end of last year passed its local content legislation, which caters to locals getting first preference in the country's oil and gas sector. The local content law is intended to regulate the way companies operate in Guyana's oil and gas sector, employ persons, buy services, and the way that they procure goods. Despite the local content legislation being in effect, there have still been some related issues in the industry and several concerns raised. And moving on, Demerara Bank on Thursday ceremonially turned the sod for the construction of a $150 million branch office at Lenora on the west coast of Demerara. According to the bank's CEO, Pravichandra Dev, the facility, which is expected to be completed within the next 18 months, will provide accessible banking services to thousands of customers traversing the west coast Demerara route. According to the CEO of Demerara Bank, Demerara Bank has been leading in its support for investment in the agricultural, mining, and other sectors. According to Dave, it is estimated that with the construction of the facility, 75,000 people from the services available at Lenora. In other news, as the National Tush House Council conference settled into its 4th day of interactions between indigenous leaders and state officials, President Irfaan Ali on Thursday announced a $3 billion financial support for the nation's first people. Ali made the unexpected announcement at the Arthur Chang Conference Center, telling Amerindian leaders that their development remains a priority for the government. The president highlighted that $250 million out of that sum will go specifically toward youth empowerment projects, and that cabinet members will be heading to Amerindian villages in the coming weeks to help crystallize plans for the utilization of the funds. And in other news, Leon Waddle, the self-confessed killer of missing Kurukururu man Answar Stall, refused to say where he had buried the body, but detectives have recovered scattered skeletal remains that they believe to be that of the victim. The skeletal remains were found on Wednesday around 20 hours 35 in the Kurukururu back dam, scattered across an area measuring 30 feet in diameter, police said in a release. While some DNA testing will be needed to confirm that the remains belong to Stahl, investigators said that a chop wound seen on the skull recovered corresponds with the suspect's description of killing his victim. And in other news, the full court on Thursday threw out an application by Attorney General Anil Nandlal intended to block former Police Service Commission Chairman Paul Slow from challenging a decision by President Irfan Ali to fire the entire commission last year, and the failure of the government to recognize the promotion of 132 senior police officers from inspector to assistant commissioner made by the said commission. Shortly after Ali sacked the commission, Slow and the other commissioners moved to the court challenging the decision, but the life of the commission subsequently expired and Nandlal moved to the High Court before Justice Jinu Prasad, asking for the matter to be discharged as the commission was no longer in place. Justice Prasad, however, on March 9th ruled that he found that the issues raised by Slow and parties in the case are matters of public interest, supported by case law. And just before we head to a short break, let's tell you that during the opening of tenders on Thursday, a contract for the construction of a stelling at Port Kaieteur, Region 1, is estimated to cost $1 billion. The project is being undertaken by the Ministry of Public Works. At the opening, 2 contractors have submitted a bid to execute the construction of works. The stelling, when completed, would facilitate the better movement of goods and for the people of Region 1. As reported on, the northwest area would soon see the arrival of a new ocean-going passenger and cargo ferry. The $12.7 million vessel is currently being built and set up in Calcutta, India. The time is now 12 hours 8 in Guyana. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio. We'll take a short break and return with your news.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let's continue with your news. Rams Logistics Guyana said that it has resubmitted an application on Thursday for entry into the local content registry. In a statement last month, the Trinidadian-owned Rams Logistics Guyana Inc. had complained that it was denied a local content certificate. According to Rams, it is a leading provider in freight forwarding and supply chain management services. Meanwhile, the Private Sector Commission, in a statement reacting to the issue, highlighted its concern over the bundling of contracts in the oil sector, thereby hindering local businesses from participating in tenders for the provision of services or goods. And now let's tell you, a 23-year-old man on Wednesday opted to run for his life as another man stabbed his 19-year-old nephew to death with a pair of scissors at Independence Drive, La Parfait Harmony on the west bank of Demerara. The dead teen was identified as Chris Gaichan Narain, better known as Boyo, a construction worker of Rector Z, West Bank, Demerara. According to police, they arrested his alleged killer on Thursday, and he is presently in their custody at the La Parfait Harmony police station. And moving on Thursday, the Ministry of Health reported that within the last 24 hours, 127 new COVID-19 cases were recorded, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 68,627. 5 patients are admitted into the ICU. 34 persons are in institutional isolation. 877 are in home isolation and 3 are quarantined institutionally. To date, a total of 66,447 persons have recovered from the virus. And to wrap things up as usual, we turn the pages of today's Kaieteur News to page 7, dedicated to being blunt. Temptation and our leaders. Unfortunately for Guyanese citizens, we have not found a way to work together to ensure that every political party that ends up in government delivers for the collective, regardless of political affiliation, race, religion, gender, and all the other social titles that keep us divided. Our failure to act as a nation of people equal in each other's eyes has rolled out the red carpet for unscrupulous politicians to do as they please with our riches, which includes picking and choosing who will have and who will not. We have failed to elect quality characters, people who have the genuine interest of all Guyanese in mind. Instead, what we have are characters easily tempted, whose eyes get full, and they must have more than what is due to them. What we end up with are citizens tempted to elect leaders by race and leaders tempted to help themselves to the people's wealth. And that brings us to the end of today's main newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
If you are applying for a land compliance from the GRA, you will need the following documents: completed application form, copy of transport title or lease, copy of agreement of sale or purchase, vendors and purchases tin, improvement schedule. You must ensure all outstanding capital gains taxes and other taxes due are paid and returns filed before you receive your compliance certificate. It takes 5 working days to receive your land compliance certificate. GRA, your partner in development.
Let's vibe, sing, dance, and share positive energy virtually. Hello, lovely people. Join me, Shivani Lachman, and let's chill out every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. A show that will be fun, simple, and interactive with giveaways and chit-chat right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. See you soon.